And good evening and welcome to another edition of Sports Corner with me, Ralph Williams. It's great to be here tonight. It's a really hot night out tonight, it seems like, and I have some hot sports talk for you as well here at 808 Studios here in Allentown, section of the city of Pittsburgh. Your comments are always welcome here in the comments section as well. We're live tonight on both YouTube and Facebook. Also, don't forget our live call-in line at 412-990-8448 is the number to call. Tonight we are live, brought to you by Melon. Melon is our live streaming tonight as we are here in Studio A at 808 Studios. All right, to get things started tonight, let's talk about the new Steeler GM, Omar Khan. You know, I like Omar Khan. I think it's a good hire. But I was quite surprised that the Steelers took all this time to make this decision. They had already known who they wanted. They knew they wanted Omar Khan. But the question here is if they wanted Omar Khan so bad, why didn't they just hire Omar Khan instead of saving everybody all the, we got to go out and do all these interviews, and we got to go do this, and we have to go do that. Well, doing all that, okay, I understand you want to do your due diligence. I realize that, okay? But what the Steelers have done is they've carried everything on to everything else. And what has happened is things have gotten a little bit and completely out of control on a lot of things. And, as far as... Oh, there we are. All right. Hang on a second here. I'm trying to fix something here because... Hold on. Let me fix something here. I don't want you hearing all that noise. There we go. All right. So anyway, so the Steelers go and they hire Omar Khan. They bring all these people in. They give Brandon Hunt 6 interviews. They already knew. Well, Brandon Hunt is now going to be moving on. Okay? He's going to be moving on to wherever he's going. And that's what's going to happen right now. So, here we are with all that. And that's the issue there. Okay? So, Brandon Hunt will be moving on. And I felt bad for him because he had interviewed a few times for this job. All right. And now he's being courted by a whole bunch of teams as far as, to be their GM and their pro scout or whatever, they're going to do. And Brandon Hunt has a lot of years with this team. He's been around, with Kevin Colbert as well. So you had a lot of good talent. The Steelers had a lot of good people to interview for this job. All right. And what they did was they went ahead and they did their due diligence. And I got to tell you, who they hired is actually good. I mean, they have Omar Khan, but they hired, okay, get this, they hired Andy Weidel. You know who Andy Weidel is? Andy Weidel was the pro personnel director with the Philadelphia Eagles. He did a lot of things for the Eagles. He was the one who basically executed, those trades and some other things he did. The draft to bring in Jalen Hurts. You see, so he, and then when they originally had Carson Wentz, he shipped him out when he needed to. So Andy Weidel is good at what he does. Okay. All right, and they moved Omar Khan, who's the money man for the Steelers. He's the one that negotiates all of the contracts. He's the one that puts the contracts together. He's the one that makes sure that the Steelers are in the salary cap. He's the man that does and handles the money, okay? And that's exactly the situation with Omar Khan. Is the fact that he handles all of the money. He does all the money deals. Now he's the general manager. And he's been around for 22, 23, whatever years with the Steelers. All right? But here's another scenario I'm going to paint here. And Juana's on the comment section, says hello. Hello back to you, Juana. Okay. Here's a scenario I'm going to paint for you. And you're not going to like it if you're a Mike Tomlin fan. Okay? I personally believe, and this is my opinion now, that I like the hire But I don't like the fact that they hired him to appease Mike Tomlin. Okay? They are giving Mike Tomlin more say in things than they did before. Okay? Mike Tomlin wanted that. At the beginning, Art Rooney II said, no. Okay? But now that Kevin Colbert is gone, they've given Mike Tomlin a little more say in some things. And I think that's dangerous. Because Mike Tomlin should stay as head coach because he does what he does as head coach. All right? But again, this is another hire to appease Mike Tomlin. Okay? Why don't the Steelers, for one time in their lives, bring in somebody that can compete? I mean, somebody that's not against Mike Tomlin, but somebody who will say, okay, Mike, I'm not a yes man. Okay? I am not a yes man. All right? Okay? The bottom line is Mike Tomlin has brought in all his assistant coaches, and if you ever noticed, every one of them is a yes man. Yes, Mike Tomlin. Yes. And if you say anything against anything, he has you fired. Or we're not going to renegotiate your contract. So let's say, for instance, the hot dog vendor at Heinz Field that might be, that might be able to say to Mike Tomlin, okay, you stink as a coach. Mike Tomlin will have that hot dog vendor fired. Okay? Mike Tomlin is the emperor of the Steelers. He'll never be the emperor like Chuck Noll, but he's the emperor right now. Okay? And everybody around him is a yes man. I know what you're going to say. Mike Tomlin, he's the best coach in the world. He's been with the Steelers all this time. The Steelers have only hired 3 coaches. I get tired of hearing about they've only hired 3 coaches. Okay? All right. We have a lot of people out here that are Tomlin haters. There's even a Facebook page of people who are Tomlin haters. All right? Who really don't like Mike Tomlin at all. And you know what's interesting? I don't. I don't like his arrogant attitude. I don't like the way he pushed out some coaches because they're not yes men that were really good coaches that could take the Steelers where they need to go. And this is where we are right now with this. Okay? All right? I'll give Mike Tomlin credit. He did a good job last year molding this team together to pull out the wins that they did, and they were very, very close to having just as many wins as Cincinnati, and may have even moved into the playoffs a little bit better if they didn't have a crappy offensive line. All right? With a 39-year-old quarterback who should have retired after he had elbow surgery like Terry Bradshaw did. Okay? All right? But then here, I have my media colleagues going, well, okay, if we didn't have Ben last year, we would have been 4-12 or 4-13. Maybe. Could have happened. With that crappy line? Yeah. But you know what? Mason Rudolph played with that crappy line, and we almost beat Detroit, and we should have, and we tied. If we would have beat Detroit, we probably would have been in the playoffs in a little better of a position. All right? I'll give Mike Tomlin credit for last year, but that's it. All right? If this is what Art Rooney II wants, is mediocrity, more or less, I don't think he cares whether or not we go to the Super Bowl. I don't think he's interested in winning a Super Bowl. Because if he was interested in winning a Super Bowl, he would make sure that the Steelers had what they would be to go to the Super Bowl. And that includes a different coach. Because I've said this many times here. I've said it on my TV show. I've said it when I was a guest on national shows. And I will continue to say this. That I don't think the Steelers will ever win another Super Bowl with Mike Tomlin. And the only reason they won the one that they did with Mike Tomlin is because Mike Tomlin had Bill Cowher's players. All right? Some of the players that were on that team, most of them, were all carryovers from when Bill Cowher was the coach. But see, all of you people out here who think that Mike Tomlin is the greatest coach since sliced bread in the NFL, and I've had this argument with a bunch of people. Oh, Mike Tomlin's such a great player, or a great coach. Oh, the Steeler organization is the best organization in football. You're the best organization in football. Then why did you do what you did to Ben Roethlisberger? Why did you do what you did to Troy Polamalu? Last week I had Ray Porter Jr. on with me from Urban Media. Okay? And we talked sports all night. It was a great conversation. We had a great time. Okay? And everybody's pointing out to me, Ralph, it's business. It's business. Steelers had to do it that way. No, they didn't. This guy gave you 18 years. 18 years of his life he gave to the Steeler organization, Ben Roethlisberger. I know what you're saying. Okay, Ralph, you contradict yourself because you didn't like Ben. You wanted him out. Yes, I did. But not like this. Not the way he was treated. And it was so bad that he did his press conference from his house on Twitter to announce his retirement with his family. Troy Polamalu, on the other hand, remember when he retired in 2015, that was really ugly. All right? And I'm talking about ugly. It was so ugly, he didn't even want nothing to do with the Steelers, the organization, the players, nobody. Okay? He didn't even show up to be in the Great Hall. You know how they have that great Steeler Hall of Fame thing down at the Great Hall at Heinz Field? If you've ever been to Heinz Field, there's a lot of people who can't afford to go to Heinz Field. Okay? I have friends who work at Heinz Field. I used to work at Heinz Field. I worked there on 3 different occasions. All right? So what I'm saying to you is this. The Steeler organization is not the best organization in football. And we can argue this all you want. 412-990-8448 and the comments section right here. If you want to argue with me tonight about what I'm saying about how the Steelers are not they're not the organization that you think they are. They pretend to be this organization. They ran Ben out, they ran Polamalu out, and they ran him out with a sour note. Roethlisberger was begged by Art II to come back last year. And this is the way you're going to run him out the door? What's wrong with you, Art? Now, I have a friend of mine who's in the media, and he tells me that Art II used to be an attorney. And I heard he never won a case. The only reason he got the job was because he was a Rooney. His grandfather was Art Rooney. Okay? Oh, today I wanted to let you know this. They took the Art Rooney statue away from Heinz Field. You know why? He was violating the smoking ordinance. Oh, my. It's crazy, isn't it? So there you go. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, supposed to be one of the best organizations, only have ever hired 3 coaches in their whole entire existence. The best organization in football. Are we spoiled? Yeah, we got the best organization in the NFL. But look at what we do to our starting quarterback who took a beating with his body for 18 years. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he got paid. Oh, he made all kinds of money. That's the way the Steelers look at it. It's all about business. It's all about business. Okay? So Omar Khan being the new general manager of the Steelers, well, of course, is all about business. But they did it again to appease Mike Tomlin. Okay? I don't care what any of you out there think. We will never, ever go to a Super Bowl again with Mike Tomlin. All right? And you can take that to the bank because you know why? I'm right. Okay? I'm definitely right. Look at some of the draft picks. And, you could blame Kevin Colbert, but Mike Tomlin is also the one who is involved in these draft picks. How many of the busts did we have? How many busts of first-round picks did we have because of Mike Tomlin? A lot. When Bill Cowher was hooked up with Kevin Colbert, how many busts did we have? Practically none. All right? But then all of a sudden, Mike Tomlin comes around, and we got all these busts in the first round. I could name you a half dozen right off the top of my head. All right? And one of them just signed a one-year contract and was on the news tonight talking about how he wanted to be back here with the Steelers because he's so familiar with the system. And you know who I'm talking about. Terrell Edmonds. Nice guy. I met him. Nice guy. Stinks playing on the field. Last year was the only good year he had. And you know why? Because he was up for a contract. Every time somebody's up for a contract, they start playing well. Look at Bud Dupree. He did nothing. He was a complete bum. All right? Then he played well the 1 year, and then the year that he was supposed to get a contract, he got hurt. Went to Tennessee, and now they ditched him because he's not doing good at all. He didn't do well at all at Tennessee. And now Tennessee's stuck with him. Okay? All right? He's injured goods. He's damaged goods. That was a bust. Jarvis, like my good buddy Smoking Jim says, Jarvis too slow Jones. Okay? Everybody forgets about that. All right? Tomlin has had some busts in the first round of the draft with Kevin Colbert. Now, let's see what Omar Khan does for next year's draft. Let's see what Omar Khan does when the season starts. Okay? But he's got Andy Weidel with him. And Andy Weidel has brought with him Sheldon White. You know who Sheldon White is? His son Cody plays on the team. Sheldon White is a friend of Andy Weidel's. So, here we are. We now have a good front office staff. But guess what? I don't know about Andy Weidel. I know he's a strong kind of guy. He's from Pittsburgh. He's worked for Philadelphia for many years. Okay, maybe some other teams. All right. So, Andy Weidel doesn't take no jive. So we're going to find out how he gets along with Mike Tomlin. And Andy Weidel's not a yes man. Okay? Yes, Mr. Tomlin. Yes, Mr. Tomlin. Yes, coach. Yes, coach. Yes, coach. I'm surprised he lets the reporters call him Mike. You know, I was told when I went to my first Bill Cowher press conference, never call him Bill unless he says you can. I was never intended on doing that anyway because I referred to him as coach out of respect. Okay? Just like in my church, and I'm going to give you an example. My church, my pastor's Pastor Paul. We have people that walk around the church calling him Paul. What? It's Pastor Paul. Give him some respect. He's the pastor of the church. Okay? Even if I even was told I could, I wouldn't even call him that. When I was in the Lutheran church years ago, my old church in Lawrenceville, or Bloomfield or whatever, on 40th Street, St. John's 40th, people would go around and call Pastor Keith or Pastor Grill. Then his wife became a pastor. So not to mix him and Pastor Jan up, we called him Pastor Keith and Pastor Jan. I never said Pastor Grill, or I never said, hey, Keith. I always referred to him as Pastor Keith or Pastor Grill. Okay? So I would still refer to Mike Tomlin as Coach Tomlin because he's a coach. Now, you got Bill Cowher. They're still calling him a coach, and he's not even a coach. All right. Now, the director of college scouting, get this, you ready? Dan Colbert. Now, this is some relation of Kevin Colbert. I don't know who it belongs to. Okay. I don't know if it's his cousin. I don't know if it's his son. I don't know if it's his brother. I don't know who it is. Okay. I do know that it is some relation of Kevin Colbert's. Okay. All right. Comment section. Yeah, call him Pastor Paul, not just Paul. I'm surprised he lets Mike Tomlin lets the report Coach Tomlin. But Mike Tomlin lets the reporters that are at the press conference call Mike. I'm really surprised based on his attitude. All right. And anyway, Cody White, who's a wide receiver on the Steelers, he's been on up and down like a roller coaster on the practice squad. Comes up when we need him, returns punts adequately, and things like that. But I have an interesting report that I saw that's interesting that you're going to like here in a few moments here. And my next question to you is Matt Canada's offense. Okay, now he has some weapons. Okay, it's no excuse this year for Matt Canada not to run his offense the way he wants to. And I told everybody, and nobody believed me. All right, well, here's what I'm saying. Okay, all right. What I'm saying to you is this. All right. Now, Calvin Austin III, okay, wide receiver we picked up or we got in the draft, all right, is going to be used for jet sweeps in the Matt Canada offense. Now, did I not say that? Yes, I did. I did say that. Yeah. All right. I have said many times that I thought that when they drafted him, it was going to be used for the jet sweeps. And guess what? That's what's happening right now. He's going to be used for the jet sweep. I knew it. But he's fast enough, and to be put in that position. And we're going to go over the entire Steeler roster here today or tonight. I'm going to let you know my thoughts on who should make the team and who shouldn't. Don't forget this Thursday, PCTV Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable, and also on PCTV's Facebook page. We have our live call-in show at 6 p.m. But this month, it's going to be special. And the reason I say that is because it is. It's going to be very special. We're doing a mid-year in review show. Okay, a mid-year in review. And we're having 5 people on set with me, or 4, other than myself. It's going to be myself. It's going to be Smoking Jim Frazier, Al Levine, the Talking Machine from Bethel Park TV and Pittsburgh Sportsline, Claudio Rosano, and Luther Dupree. All right. Luther, Claudio, and Smoking Jim do a show called The Boxing Authorities, also on PCTV, and they do a show called Steel City Sports World, also on PCTV. Okay. The Boxing Authority show is on a rotating basis and is also steady on Saturdays at 4 p.m. before my show, which is on 5 p.m. every Saturday, Sports Corner with me and Smoking Jim Frazier. But what we're doing this Thursday is a very special show. And we're going to review the year from the time that we spoke in February 28th show when we had the Year in Sports review from last year. We're going to have a midterm review. And what I'm saying is we're going to be able to talk about how we're going to have this, talk about many different topics, from the Pirates to Penguins, the Steelers, Pitt football, Pitt basketball, men's basketball, women's basketball. We can talk about the whole enchilada of Pittsburgh sports. Okay? What's set to come up this year? New coaches in high school, so on and so forth. It's going to be an interesting show. So I think you need to be there. You can also participate by calling 412-231-2288. This is this coming Thursday, June 2nd. Make sure you mark it on your calendar. Tell your friend, tell your cousin, tell somebody, because that's exactly what's going to happen. So Matt Canada, in all due respects, should be able to run his offense the way he wants to this year. And with the quarterback competition, which of course I think Mike Tomlin or Coach Mike Tomlin should actually put his make his starting quarterback ahead of time, not having a competition, because if you take a look, you don't really have time this year for competition. You only have 3 preseason games, okay, instead of 4. They raised one game up to 17 games. You really don't have time for a quarterback competition. Other than the OTAs and everything else, you have your training camp, which comes up at the end of July. Okay? That's coming up super, super soon. So what I'm saying to you is this, and that is that you're going to, the Steelers are really going to have to see what happens. And you have all these people out here who are saying Kenny Pickett's going to be the starting quarterback because he's the number 1 draft pick. No. I think it's going to be between Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, and Kenny Pickett will sit back for maybe 1 year, maybe 2, and take a look at things. All right? It'll probably end up being like Ben Roethlisberger. Remember, he was behind Tommy Maddox and Charlie Batch. Both got hurt, and he got thrusted in there, and the Steelers still went 15-1. Almost went to the Super Bowl. And almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. You know that, right? Well, that's the scenario with that too. Okay? All right? Now, reports have that the Steelers are going to make an attempt to get DK Metcalf. All right? So, Omar Khan, you got your brand new general manager's job. What are you going to do to try to get this, if that's what you're pursuing? DK Metcalf could become a Steeler. And Deontay Johnson showed up for the second week of OTAs. Wow. Oh my, he finally showed up. Yay. That's right, he showed up. Actually did today. All right. Crisco Fingers, who wants a big contract, although he still has 1 year left on his. All right. Coming out saying he wants a new contract. Really? All right. Let's talk about the assistant quarterbacks coach. So that means this year in training camp, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the quarterback. You have 4 of them. You have Pickett, Trubisky, Rudolph, and Olagadugu. All right. Who will probably wind up being cut anyway or put on the practice squad. Anyhow, he stands no chance, I don't think, of even, well, unless he really impresses. I don't know. Anything can happen, as they say. And they released Javon Mason, defensive tackle from Arizona State. Wow, they didn't even give Herm Edwards, the player, a chance even. They released him already. Wow. Holy heck. So what's your thoughts this year? 412-990-8448. Also the comment section wide open. Do you think that the Steelers, do you have your 53-man roster put together yet? All right. Let's take a look at the offensive line first, okay? Let's look at the offensive line, because what I want to say is I believe I can put my 53-man roster together right now. All right. James Daniels, Mason Cole, Kendrick Green, Dan Moore, J.C. Hassenauer, Kevin Dotson, and Joe Haig. Shuk Okorafor, Jake Dixon. Now, here's your offensive line here. Okay? And Trent Scott. All right. I think the starting line, well, let's take a look at who we have. James Daniels. Okay, we have Mason Cole. We have Kendrick Green. Those 3 are probably going to make the team. Dan Moore will make the team. All right, Kevin Dotson, Joe Haig, John Legou, Shuk Okorafor, and I'm taking a look at Trent Scott. There are the guys I think that will make it, okay, for the offensive line. Now, quarterbacks, Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, Rudolph, Chris Oladukum. I think he's either going to be a cut or on the practice squad, okay? The running backs, Najee Harris, Benny Snell. Yeah, that's right, Benny Snell. And I said it, and I'll say it again because he stinks. All right, he stinks. Okay? Callan Baloche, Anthony McFarland, and Mateo Durant. Now, I like Mateo Durant. I think he's a good pickup. I don't know what Anthony McFarland's going to do. Well, Anthony McFarland's going to make the team because a lot of people don't know this. He's friends with Dino Tomlin, who happens to be Mike Tomlin's son, who went to Maryland and recommended between him and Matt Canada, pushed for Anthony McFarland to get drafted. Najee Harris, I think it's probably going to be Benny Snell that'll be out. The rest of them will probably make it. Wide receiver, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Miles Boykin, Calvin Austin III. Now, if they do add Metcalf, Gunnar Olszewski's going to make it because he just signed. He's a kick return specialist and a very good slot receiver and a very good third down receiver. So Anthony Miller, Gunnar Olszewski, Steven Sims, Tyler Snead, Cody White. He'll make the team somehow, some way, or he'll be on the practice squad. I think it's going to be George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, Miles Boykin, Calvin Austin III, and Gunnar Olszewski. That's who I think is going to make the team. All right. Now, if Metcalf comes into the fold, Miles Boykin could get cut because I don't know how he fits into this. Okay. And I don't see the Steelers carrying 7 wide receivers. They usually carry 6. All right, tight end. I'm looking at Pat Freiermuth, Zach Gentry, and Kevin Rader. My question is, Connor Hayward, where does he fit into this? Now, Connor Hayward can do 2 different positions, so that would mean that he could possibly play the 2 positions that he does, halfback and tight end, and he'll make it because he is Cam's brother. And the Steelers are the only team that have 4 brother teams or brothers on the team. The Davis brothers, the Hayward brothers, the Watt brothers, and the Edmonds brothers. That's 4 brother teams, or 4 sets of brothers on the team that no one in the league has, except for the Steelers, of course. Fullbacks, Derek Watts, Trey Edmonds, and Connor Hayward. It'll be Watt and Hayward, and I see Trey Edmonds either getting cut or probably be on the practice squad as usual. All right, let's take a look at the defense. Defensive line, I look at Cam Hayward, Tyson Alawu, Isaiah Loudermilk, Henry Mondo, Montavious Adams, Carlos Davis and Khalil Davis, and DeMarvin Lew. That's it. And Wormley. All right, you're going to have an issue here because you have too many players. All right, you got too many guys on the defensive line. I see Cam Hayward, Tyson Alawu, Chris Wormley, Henry Mondo, Montavious Adams, and probably one of the Davis brothers. And so we'll see what happens with that. I'm looking at 6, maybe 7 defensive tackles. Linebackers, T.J. Watt, Robert Spillane, Devin Bush, Miles Jacks, Marcus Allen, Ulysses Gilbert III, Mark Robinson, Jannard Avery, Alex Highsmith, Buddy Johnson, Tyree Johnson, T.J. Moultrie, and Deontay Scott. Now, this has become a crowded field here. For a little while there, we had no depth at linebacker. All right, I look at T.J. Watt making the team. Spillane, they just re-signed him. Miles Jacks, he's a free agent from Jacksonville. I look at Ulysses. We'll see about Ulysses Gilbert and Mark Robinson. Jannard Avery, he's a free agent. Alex Highsmith, Buddy Johnson, who knows? Tyree Johnson, T.J. Moultrie, and Deontay Scott, either practice squad or cut. Defensive tackles, or defensive backs, I'm sorry. Terrell Edmonds, of course. Cam Sutton, Levi Wallace, Carl Joseph, DeMonte Cassie, they just signed him. Miles Kinnebrew, special teams, good backup. I see Justin Lane getting cut. I don't like him. He's a bum. All he's done is special teams. He's made some stupid mistakes. It's time for him to go. He was a bust. Arthur Mollett, Trey Norwood, James Pierre. I see them guys making the team. And then we'll go from there after that. Donovan Steiner or Sterner, or Akia Witherspoon too. There's a crowded field there too. So I'm not sure exactly. Kicker, of course, Chris Boswell, and they brought in Nick Skiba to compete with him. All right, Presley Harvin III is our punter, and they brought in a Cameron Nizelek. All right, long snapper, of course, will be Christian Kuntz. I don't see anybody competing with him for his job at all. All right, so there we are. That is the Steelers lineup and some of the stuff that the Steelers are up to. Next week, we'll talk about more about the schedule. We'll go in depth on that. I don't know if I have time tonight to really go into the schedule. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we should, because I don't really have too much more to talk about. I haven't received any phone calls. And I've got some stuff in the comments section here. I've got some emojis, and I've got, yeah, that's right, you do call him Pastor Paul, not just Paul, says Juana. And I thank Juana, as usual, for her comments as well. September 11th, let's take a look here. We start 1 p.m., play the Cincy Bengals at home. September 18th, we're at home. Here's the home games. Cincinnati, New England, Cleveland, New York Jets, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints, Baltimore Ravens, and the Las Vegas Raiders, our last home game of the season. Then we play Philly, Buffalo, Miami, Cincinnati, of course, Indy, and the Indianapolis Colts. We play away. We play at Atlanta, at Carolina. You know, at Atlanta and at Carolina could be difficult games because we haven't played there in a while. All right? And, they're different at home than they are. We are, and of course, the Ravens, and our last game of the season is at Cleveland. All right, we play the Browns. Our preseason schedule's a little bit, I wouldn't say simple, but, it's preseason. Our first game is August 13th. We play Seattle at Heinz Field, and that'll be on KDKA with Bob Pompiani and Charlie Batch. Okay. Sunday, August 28th, or August 20th, we play at Jacksonville. That's a 7 o'clock start. Then we're playing a special Sunday game on CBS at 4:30 at Heinz Field. We play the Detroit Lions. All right, with head coach Dan Campbell's looking into his second season. See if maybe he can fix and improve the, the Detroit Lions, who haven't done so well lately. And, they really haven't done well at all. Ever. I don't know what the deal is. They have a bad front office or something who don't know how to hire people or anything like that. So, we'll go from there. All right, Pirates. Let's talk about the Pirates. They're 20-27. They won last night. They beat the Dodgers 6-5. They're in third place in the NL Central. And, busy for the Pirates in the minor leagues, up and down, up and down. Injuries have caught to Vogelbach, Tomasalu, or whatever. Gamble just got hurt, and Newman's hurt. All right, so with all that, they had to bring some guys up from the minors. And I don't know what's going on with Cole Tucker. They keep on playing games with him. I don't know if there's a problem with him, or if he just isn't sitting well with them. I don't know. Cole Tucker continues to go up and down and up and down. It's like your car. You know how you go to the repair shop and your car goes up and down, up and down? Yeah, exactly. Pirates acquire Yu Chang from the Cleveland Guardians, formerly known as the Cleveland Indians. He's going to go to the minors for a little while. They need some help at first base because their first base guys, Vogelbach and, Samamu, or whatever his name is, they're both hurt right now. Newman, Vogelbach, Gamble, and Tezuku. Cole Tucker reassigned again, like I said earlier, just a minute ago. I don't know what's going on with him as well. But that Yu Chang, they say they think he's going to be a decent player. That's why they acquired him from the Cleveland Guardians, formerly known as the Cleveland Indians. Because everybody's making this big issue about these Indian names. Like the Redskins had to change their name to the Commanders, which I actually thought somebody had suggested the Washington Presidents. That would have been a great name for them. But instead, they chose the Commanders. So it'll be now the Washington Commanders. All right. They signed Rob Rust to a 6-year extension. Depends. What's going to happen to Letang and Malkin? 412-990-8448. You want to talk about this? Yeah. Ron Hextall came out and said they can only sign 2 out of 3 based on the salary cap. My question to Ron Hextall is this, and this new group called the Fenway Group, who owns the Pens. And now that they own the Pens and they have full authority, Mario Lemieux and Ron Burke aren't there no more, folks, for them to lean back on. So Fenway Group's going to do whatever they want. So I'm thinking they're not going to implode the team, but I think they're going to make some changes that might make the team just a little bit better so that they move past that first round stage of the playoffs. Then again, Fenway Group might say to Mike Sullivan, see you later, bye, nice knowing you. All right? Because it's been 5 years since we won a Stanley Cup. And, I mean, it really has. And, with the talent that we have, we should have been able to do so. Now, I know our goaltending stunk this year. We had injuries with D. Smith, injuries with Jari. They had to bring up Louis Domin or Dominique or Domonk or whatever they call him, or Donkbonk or whatever. They had to keep playing him. He's nothing but a third-string goalie. And then the defense sort of dropped the ball a little, dropped the puck too much because they weren't there for Louis Domingue. And I thought that was pretty sad in certain games. They just weren't there for him. And I felt bad for him too, because he had to play and get thrown into the fire of the playoffs rather than having some regular season games to fall back on. And that just didn't happen. Casey D. Smith, as far as I'm concerned, I could care less if he comes back. Ron Hextall and the Pens, they're going to have to go out and get a backup goalie, a good backup goalie, not some bum from somewhere, but somebody decent. And that's what I believe they're going to have to do. Now, if you ask my opinion, I would pick Malkin over Letang. And I know all you Letang people out there, you're all happy about Chris Letang. Well, let me tell you something about Chris Letang, okay? Chris Letang has more dumb stuff he's done in his career than he has positive, okay? And I know that some of that positive has helped us win games. Sure, all right? But let me ask you this question, all right? All the stupid mistakes he's made over the years that has cost us more games than what games that he has helped us to win, okay? So those of you who sit there and want to have Letang back, you might as well look the other way, all right? He's already being courted by teams, okay? All right? His contract, they got to do, the Pens are going to have to either sign Malkin or Letang. And I think they should sign Malkin. Although Malkin's an injury case too. I mean, he's always hurt all the time. Every time you turn your back, he's hurt. All right? Okay, Pens really need to look for a decent backup goalie. And I just don't see where they're going to have to find some cap room somewhere. So somebody has to go. All right? In this perspective. And, they re-signed Russ, that's fine. But what they could have probably done was got rid of all three of them and just clean house with that. And then bring in a good backup goalie, maybe some younger players, some faster players, some players who might be able to, do a little bit of bumping and grinding on the boards. Things like that, okay, that this team needs to win, to move on from the first round of the playoffs. Unless that's what the Fenway Group wants. And I don't think they want that. I think the Fenway Group, once they want to be a winner, they've won in Boston. They own the Red Sox. They own several other sporting teams. All their teams win. So they're not afraid to spend any kind of money. So I think that they're going to be able to spend money, get this cap space needed to get some people in here and get it going. The Pens have some problems, and one of them is a backup goaltender. Now, Jari has proved to me, after I've said he's a bum, I wasn't sold on him for a while, but now he's got through with this new goalie coach, and he's become another all-star goaltender. But it's just when he's hurt, you need to get a quality backup. You need to get somebody to come in and spell him off, or if he's hurt, come in and play for him. And you hope that the goalie doesn't get hurt, because most of the time when that happens, you're in big, big trouble. All right, speaking of the NHL, the Rangers beat my Carolina Hurricanes, and now the Rangers are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning have been to some Stanley Cups. Rangers haven't done anything lately. But this Ranger team is young. They're scrappy. Look what they did against the Pens. Tampa Bay is going to be, if Tampa Bay thinks that this is going to be a very, and if they think this is going to be easy against the Rangers, Tampa Bay better do some thinking, because this Ranger team is very good. They're very scrappy. They're young. They have a young coach. And I believe that the Rangers could move on. I'm not a New York Ranger fan at all. I'm not a Tampa Bay Lightning fan that much either. But if it came to either one of them, I'd want the Lightning. And I wanted the Hurricanes because of my Raleigh being my second city. I love the Hurricanes. Okay, down there in Raleigh, North Carolina. All right. Also, you have the Avalanche versus Edmonton in the West, and this is for the Stanley Cup. So let's see where we go with this. Who's going to be in the Stanley Cup? You think it could be Edmonton and the Rangers? It could be Edmonton and Tampa Bay. It could be the Avalanche and Tampa Bay. It could be any of those four teams. Okay? Anything can happen in the NHL. Anything can happen in any of these leagues. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think, well, this guy, they have a bad record. You know what Bill Cowher once said? Bill Cowher once said, this is the National Football League, and anything can happen. A 1-in-15 team could beat a team like the Steelers, who might be going to the Super Bowl, and they might end up, getting beat. Okay? Look at Detroit. Detroit was terrible last year. They came into Heinz Field and they tied 16-16, and we still couldn't beat them, even with our backup quarterback at Mason Rudolph. All right? All right, speaking of the NFL, jeez. Oh, my. Antonio Brown continues to say he's retiring from football. You know what? I'll believe it when I see it. If he retires from football and never comes back, I'll believe it when I see it. He is about the most unpredictable, stupidest person in the world. Hey, when you got money, you can afford to be stupid. And you can afford to do whatever you want. He's got money. He doesn't care. And he's going to step away from football. At least that's what he says. But I think he's full of baloney. And we'll find out what happens after that. Jeff Gallanfi, former Cardinal player, dies in a car crash. I got to tell you, he was the number one pick for Arizona Cardinals. So sad to hear about that happening. So he'll be up there in football heaven. But, that's some of the other sports news I have for you today. And also, I have one more thing to add before we get into some other local sports. Mark Cuban. Now, Mark Cuban was deterred. He's not only been deterred from buying stuff in Oakland because of Pitt. Now, he's no longer interested in buying the Pirates. He wanted to buy the Pirates. He went to Bob Nutting numerous times. He even offered double. Bob Nutting said, my team's not for sale. How wonderful that is. Hey, I'm going to tell you what. Someone comes to me with double, they can have it. I'll go away in the sunset for that kind of money. Yes, I will. Definitely. But Mark Cuban said he no longer has any interest whatsoever in buying the Pirates anymore. And then stuff like what Bob Nutting does, that'll do it to you as well, because Bob Nutting, we all know about him. And, the jury's still out on him. So a lot of people still don't trust him. And, it's hard to trust somebody who every season was at spring training going on and on about how the Pirates have the talent to go to the World Series. And he would say that every year, even though the Pirates didn't have the talent. Okay? He would come out and go, I think the Pirates are going to make it to the World Series. Oh, we have the talent. Really? Bob Nutting, as I've said many times, he could come here to the 808 Studios. He could knock on the door, and he could say, and be dripping wet with a raincoat and say it's raining outside. I'd have to look out the window. That's how much I don't trust Bob Nutting. And Bob Nutting did this to himself. He did it to himself because I know, here we go again. He's a businessman. He can make money as a businessman. But you have some obligation to your fans. You have an obligation to your fans to be able to put out a good product for the money they pay you, the owner, and the money that they pay to go to a game. Okay, you should have at least consideration for the fact that there are fans that show up at games. All right, I'm going this Saturday only because they're giving away free fedora hats. Other than that, I wouldn't go. I refuse to put money into the Bob Nutting uh, thing, And these tickets, yeah, I'll put a couple bucks in there. My mom likes to go to the games, and they're giving away fedora hats too. She wants to get a fedora hat, so we're gonna go for that purpose. Other than that, I don't go to games. All right. Okay, Pitt football. Jordan Addison. All right, I still haven't heard from anybody in the comments section or on the phone. 412-990-8448. What's your thoughts on Jordan Addison? What's your thoughts about what he pulled on the Pitt Panthers? Do you think it was wrong? Do you think he did what he had to do? Do you think he did it from Do you think he left because of Whipple being gone? Do you think he left because of Clinton Slovis being the quarterback? Now I heard some stories he did leave for that reason. He left because he saw the writing on the wall when he saw Frank Signetti Jr. coming in, and Frank Signetti Jr. likes to run the football, so which means he figures, well, I'm not going to get the ball, like I did before. Excuse me, folks, I got a knot in my back. That's why I'm trying to move around a little bit. Anyway, lately I've been having some issues, and I did want to do the shows the last 2 days. I've been having some health problems. I have this issue with one of my legs that's real bad, and then now my back is knotted up, and it's been one thing after another here. So, I'm still here though, and God bless me, I'm still here and I'm talking with you, and it's great to be here, always talking sports with you. I just wish you would tell me about some of the things like Jordan Addison. What's your thoughts on that? 412-990-8448. Comment section. Do you think what he did was wrong? Do you think he did it because of Frank Signetti and Mark Whipple being gone? Or maybe he didn't like Pat Narduzzi that well. Maybe he thought he was getting a short end of the stick somehow, some way or something. I don't know what happened over there, but I do know Jordan Addison is gone. He is with the USC Trojans, and we'll see what he does this year. Biletnikoff winner, and Pitt kind of let him get away, and I blasted, or I had a real interesting commentary last month on my show, Sports Corner, on my live call-in show about this. I went out and I gave it to Pat Narduzzi because for dropping the ball on this, because Pitt got caught with their pants down. And the sad part about all this, Pitt didn't make no effort to try to keep him here. That's the thing that bothers me. That's like, for instance, you have a quarterback that's, the best quarterback around, but you make no effort to keep him either because you're cheap or because you don't know how to work the salary cap, and you don't keep him and he just walks away. And then for the rest of the, like now, Jackie Sherrill was once the coach at Pitt. When Jackie Sherrill was coach, we were prominent. Okay? And now we can forget about it. Wannstedt was our coach, we were prominent. Dave Wannstedt had a lot of guys going to the NFL, different players that he knew from back when he was coaching. They would let their sons play with Pitt play at Pitt because of Dave Wannstedt. Do you see what I'm getting at here? It's all about the coach. All right? It's all about the coach. Thank you, Juana. I hope I feel better too. This knot in my back right now. I don't know where this came from. Fortunately, the show will be over shortly. And I don't mean that way. All right, let's talk about Pitt men's basketball. Jeff Capel has again had to assemble a whole new team. All of his team went bye-byes again. Again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Reports are out there that Jeff Capel's brother is a jerk, and that he doesn't fare well with the players, and that's why a lot of them leave the team. And of course, Capel's not going to fire him. Heather Lake's going to have to fire him, but of course she said she's going to let Jeff Capel do whatever he needs to do as far as his staff goes for him. Other Pittsburgh sports, the Passion beat the Columbus Chaos 35-6. They have one loss this season. They have two more games coming up. I think the Passion probably will make it to another, either a division title, or they'll make it to another championship and bring home another one. Hey, the Steel City, the Steel City team with the ABA, Yellow Jackets. Yeah, the Steel City Yellow Jackets. They won their championship in the ABA. So guess what? I think that the Passion might have that opportunity based on the other teams in this town, the Pirates, the Steelers, the Pens. They haven't been able to make it to their championship games, so here we are. So, but they beat the Columbus Chaos 35-6. All right, this week Pittsburgh Riverhounds tied on Saturday 2-2 to Miami. Oh my! Ever since the Riverhound, ever since some of these other teams have come in, the Riverhounds have been kind of up and down this year. They're still drawing well. They have a good following. They're doing well with Bob Lilly as their coach, and they re-signed a few players as well. Oh, and they play Detroit City away, and that's coming up this Saturday, June 4th, for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. All righty. This has been another edition of Sports Corner. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We're here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. unless otherwise noted. Sometimes I have guests coming on and they can't come on until later on or before, so I have to move the time around sometimes or a day or two ahead because I really want to have them on the program. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. Mauler Talk, and we have a lot to talk about with the Maulers, man. I got to tell you, they're 1-6. They're going into their last game against New Jersey Generals. We're going to find out what the Maulers are made of this week. I wasn't very pleased with a few things. I'll tell you about that Wednesday. Also, don't forget 10:15, 10:30, the Sports Web. I'll be on with Peter Blake. We talk Turnbuckle Talk. We talk wrestling. Thursday night, 8 p.m., Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631 is the number to listen to the show. Black and Gold podcast with myself, Mark Mancini, and Smokin' Jim Frazier. Don't forget to tune into that. Listen to that as well. Saturday, 5 p.m., Sports Corner. 4 p.m., Boxing Authorities, Sports Corner at 5 with me and Smokin' Jim Frazier, Boxing Authorities. I got to tell you what, you got to watch this program, the Boxing Authorities. These guys, they dissect every fighter. They dissect, and there's conversation about all the fights. They, they give you the skinny on everything, and it's so good. And they know what they're talking about. They're not somebody that's there going, no. They know what they're talking about. 4 p.m., Boxing Authorities every Saturday. 5 p.m., Sports Corner every Saturday with me, Ralph Williams, Smokin' Jim Frazier. 6 p.m., Steel City Sports World, Luther Dupree, Smokin' Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano. And then speaking of that, don't forget Thursday night, 6 p.m., Channel 21 Comcast, 47 Verizon PC TV. We have a live call-in show. It's going to be a special mid-year in review. My special guest, Claudia Rosano, Luther Dupree, Smokin' Jim Frazier, and Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Bethel Park TV, Pittsburgh Sports Line, which was just on an hour before me, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. on Bethel Park TV, and you can catch it on their Facebook page as well. It's live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Hosted by Al Levine, the Talking Machine, with Chip Hayner, Smokin' Jim Frazier, and Nick Callis, of course. That's the four guys that are on there all the time with Al Levine, the Talking Machine as well. 7 p.m. Tuesday nights, Bethel Park TV, if you live in the fine community of Bethel Park, or on Facebook on their Facebook page as well. I am Ralph Williams. This has been Sports Corner. Don't forget every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. right here, live on Facebook, live on YouTube as well. Have a great night. Be safe.